Hello everyone. I'm level 36 and welcome back to Stationeers. Alright. We're back here in our little safe room. It's nighttime out, so I do want to off-gas all of this stuff we had inside. Got our basic printers set up. Did we make a active event? Yes, we did. We want to, once this is all vacuumed out, so we just want to make sure we're getting rid of that oxygen from inside. So if we open the door and it is still hot enough out there, which it looks like it might be soon, if not already, it's burning off at the top of the stack instead of burning off in our face. But yeah, I think the goal for today is to build an electroprint and perhaps a furnace. So we might have enough to build a furnace now. Let's see. Yeah, we do. Cool. That started. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. Doing... Well, we could probably use some extra water. Let's, before we do that, let's grab some of our resources from our lander and bring them inside so that we can have them a little bit more safe in here out of the pretty terrible weather outside. This is taking a minute. I forgot how long the furnace actually took to build. Turn that off for now. We also are likely going to need some more cable, so we'll queue some of that up after this furnace is done printing. Almost a complete vacuum in here. You can see that the temperature is rising in here, though. So that likely means that outside it's getting pretty hot. Which is why we are vacuuming this room out. So it's not hot in here.
Hydration critical.
I need to go do the, get some water here sooner than later. Just make as much of that as you can. Down to the last dregs of pressure. Power is charging. And fully depressurized. We will grab our water before we head on out. Ooh, wow, that's bright. I think that's the reflection off of our flashlight there. Alright, interior. We're going to turn on, set outwards. Up our helmet. Consume some water and some food. We need to get our trade system set up so that we can actually obtain some new food sources, because switchgrass does not really work for that. And now we depressurize this room. Keep it nice and insulated and temperature stable. Mm-hmm. So yeah, trading system is going to be important, and a yeah, because we got started on the airlock for the front. I set up a basic one because I just don't want to spend the energy or the resources on a fully automatic airlock for now. This base is basically going to just exist to very simply keep us alive, and then we can use this as a hub to build a larger, more stable base. That with the idea of that being that it will also keep us a little bit safer against potential mishaps that can happen, like we had on the Mars playthrough, where things just kind of blew up. Right, turn that off because we don't need that pressurized anymore. Close that door and open this one up. It's hot, bright outside. Just do a quick inspection, make sure everything's happy still. So any oxygen that did get purged, yeah, you're still fine. Any oxygen that did get purged got purged far enough away that it didn't create issues for us. So, alright, let's grab our stuff and just start tossing it inside. I think there's some
waste tank caution.
what's the word I'm thinking for? Lockers. I think there are some lockers in there that we'll be able to use to store a lot of this stuff. I honestly don't need these flags. We'll keep them anyway. We can recycle them later on. Any resources we can get are important at this point. Radiators. This is all the stuff you're supposed to use to set up an atmospherics kit. I don't know if there's storms on Vulcan. I'm assuming there probably is, just because that's kind of how this game goes. And Vulcan is the harder of the planets, but I'm not really sure. And I am going to switch one of the walls for a window, so I know I just spent all that energy and time vacuuming out that room, but since it's going to be a continuously vacuumed room, we don't actually need it to be pressurized. Or we don't need it to be like what's the word I'm looking for? We don't need it to be sealed against radiant heat. Trade stuff we will set up here shortly. Grow room stuff might just pull that whole box in. Flares, cracker cartridge, and then we'll come back out for the rest of this stuff here in a second. So let's close this off, open that up. Some pressure will leak in, but that's okay for now. Let's see. Rubber package. Residential supplies package. Container mounts, which we may use here in a moment. Locker. There we go, that's what we wanted. Set that down in the corner. What else else is in here? Tables, microwave, and egg carton. So the egg carton, I'm not exactly sure what to do with, because that's, we... it didn't go well last time. We lost our eggs. But we will put the rest of the stuff away. We don't need that for now. We do have mining supplies. Atmospheric supplies we may need here in a moment. Portable air conditioning supplies put away. Battery charger we will just stick over here. Swapping out our battery. And then while we're doing this, let's also just crowbar out some of these walls. Because we're going to swap these out with some windows. It's going to annoy me if I don't do the whole strip. Where did that iron sheet go? There it is. Is that damaged? Don't start burning now. And grinder. So just put this in the tool slot. Pause it. Go. We will need to deal with that
Temperature high.
rather quickly. It gives me absolutely no warning with that.
Temperature critical. Temperature high.
Okay. Dealt with in a hopefully safe location. There we go. Now we need the iron sheets. This will give us a better idea of what daylight's looking like on the outside. And then, what was I looking for? Oh, glass sheets, which are in here there. And then we can finish these off. There we go. This should now be resealed, and then we can kick you on to start drawing down our pressure and temperature in exchange. This stuff can go in there, because that's all food and water that we'll most certainly need. Atmospherics. That's the furnace that we were taking outside originally. Random small flags. Some more cereal bars. And our tracker, which we don't need to set up just yet. Okay. That away, and that away. Need to remember to turn this off when we're not using it, because it will run out of power, and that will be unfortunate. Go, we got our battery charger plumbed in. That'll just be useful to have, because it is. And we'll throw the pickaxe in there. It's a nice little emergency pick. And do we have any other batteries that we want to charge up? Well, we can steal that one. Alright. It's not quite completely vacuumed out in here. I guess I shouldn't really be that worried about it. It's not waste of power, because we are going to need to set this one up, which is going to require a little bit more power. Cable coils. Can I go under or around these doors? Oh wow, these doors are like nice and don't completely obstruct cable routing. Amazing. Probably only obstructs it in the areas where the door actually moves through. So if I was to... no, it doesn't. Okay, cool. So if we have enough cable, otherwise we're going to need some more copper. Just enough. Right. Now, in theory, it's actually worth it to vacuum this out fully. So this completely sealed, vacuumed out room will give us a nil temperature area to work in during the day. And then out at night will be our time to work in the outside world. So to survive, let's go through kind of the checklist of stuff that we need for basic survival. We need power, which we're kind of shy on right now. We're barely keeping afloat. We need oxygen. We need food, and we need water. Now, water we can make by burning volatiles and oxygen in a H2 burner. I forget what it's called exactly. Let's see if it comes up in Stationeria. Water. Going to tell me catalytic filters. Huh. Oh, it's an infinite filter. Okay. It's probably just a creative item then. So water, we can get it from, doesn't say there. Where is it? Fabricators? No. Yeah, no, it's not there for sure. Structure kits. Oh, it's something we can get from atmospheres. We can just look. H2 combustor. That's what I was thinking of. So this we can use to take volatiles and oxygen. So a fuel mix, ignite it, and it becomes very, very, very hot water. And we have to cool that, and then we can condense it into not super hot water. And this room is fine now, so we can turn that off. Let's head outside to do some maintenance. So if we grab these pipes, a passive vent, now we have a functional airlock, so we can depressurize this. And that will, in turn, allow us to vacuum that small room out instead of having to vacuum this whole big room out every time we need to enter and exit our manufacturing area, which is nice. Okay. So we also wanted to bring in the remainder of our equipment, like this oxygen tank. Let go. Let go. There we go. And then up top, I think there's a liquid nitrogen tank that we also want to grab. This feels very dangerous. I think the small liquid nitrogen tank is what blew up my base last time, so I think I'm justifiably nervous about the large version. And what's the last couple boxes are, yeah, hydroponics and trading supplies. So this one we will drop off, and we're not going to be able to fit that through this time, so Stick that there. Run these inside. We'll need to set up a... wow, that's fast. Perhaps we'll set up a system to indicate when it's actually at 0. But realistically, it probably isn't necessary with how quick that was. Alright, close you. Open you. It is kind of weird having it go from no sound on the inside, or yeah, no sound on the inside, because when I did... Get out of the way. When I did my Mars survival run, right, the no sound areas were outside, or very limited sound. And then the areas with sound were all out or inside, where we had our pressure. Alright. Oh, that thing's really pretty, but very, very dangerous. So, by having this one in here as well, we can refill our air tank without having to, go into the inside. So because it's so hot outside, we don't want to be out there right now. We want to wait until night, when it's not as toasty roasty on the outside, to do some mining to get some more resources. Unfortunately, that does limit what we can do, but it doesn't mean we can't plan. So, right now, this vent is what vacuums out this area here. And because we have nothing in here, it's, or we're not producing any gases in here, it's completely sealed off and we're okay. But if we do want to continue using the arc furnace on the rare chance that we're not using the regular furnace, which hopefully I'll set up here in a moment. Also, we still have some iron. Actually, I guess we still have plenty of resources. It's just all stuck in here. There we go. We can make things. What do we need to actually make an electroprint? That is a priority. Oh, we have everything we need. Well, isn't that convenient? So yeah, we do need an electronics printer because we will need some of the kits we can get from the electroprint to continue advancing. And I'd like to get Mark II machines up pretty quickly. All in all, this series I'd like to move faster. I feel like last time, we took our time, we learned, which is great, but also, like, we can go faster this time. We're going to keep the duct tape. Put away these. These. We have a... I don't even know what we're going to do with this. Liquid nitrogen tank. So we only have switchgrass seeds, grow lights, hydroponics, water. One of you has like a insulated canister package. Yeah, that's the one that we need to be wary of. So the switchgrass will be our primary means of getting more oxygen by recycling or taking CO2 from the outside and filtering it into O2 using switchgrass, because it has the highest exchange rate from wow, why can I not think? It has the highest exchange rate from CO2 to O2. That being said, it still does need to be, like, in a pressurized environment consistently, which we still don't have. And it will also need to be temperature regulated. So that might be a little bit till we get a permanent farming system set up. If we look, so plants, switchgrass. I don't think we're looking for regular grass. We're looking for switchgrass. Well, it is just regular grass. No, switchgrass. So we need 8.64 moles of carbon dioxide per hour, and we need that will produce a bunch of oxygen per hour. It will also produce. So it is vulnerable to pollutant and volatiles. It uses that much water, but our max grow temperature is 60 C. So we cannot have this thing get toasty, otherwise it will just die. So that is where we'll need to set up some AC units, or like a vapor compression air conditioning system. Electroprint, it's done. I'm not super proud of how this setup's going to look to start, but like I said, this is just to start. This is the last major printer we'll need as well. So, stick it in the corner, it's fine. Also, we should probably charge that battery and get a fresh one for the welder. Need iron sheets, which I only have one of apparently. Did I use all iron sheets? No. No, we could make some more. Go. Well, there's the issue. Cable coils. We do have some copper still. This will be our last initial manufacturing. We have the furnace as well, so we can technically make steel. I believe we'll also need like electrum and solder as well, so those might be a little bit harder to make, but we should be able to do it. I think I can make a pretty reliable starter furnace pretty quickly nowadays. Especially because it's so warm on this planet, I won't really need to worry about heat. I think if I just throw a little bit of golds in the furnace, the off-gassed oxygen will be enough to create the ignition, which will create the temperature required to smelt just about anything I need. Especially since there's no, ices here to do the good old 2 oxide, 1 volatile ice. Or no, backwards. 2 volatile ice, 1 oxide trick. Oh no, did I have that the right way? I don't know. I think it's, volatiles and oxide. We make the last bit of copper into cables here. So we will need some more copper soon, but we'll wait for the giant black hole of death to go down for that. Power is going to be another potential issue just because, well, our starter generators won't handle some of the larger loads that we might have. They already may not handle just the basics loads that we have right now. So we may need to set up that portable generator after all, which is what sunk us last time. So we're going to need to be a little careful about how and where we set it up. Not a crowbar, screwdriver. All right, electroprint online. One of the big things that I need from you is a battery. Yes, we'll need steel, electrum, constantan, and solder. Those are the big ones that we will need. What else can we make here that will be worth it? So one of the things that I might want to try out is a Stirling engine. So when high pressure hot gas is supplied to the input, which we have in droves, the gas will heat the hot side of the unit, which will pass into the output pipe. The cooler side uses the room's ambient atmosphere, which must be kept at a lower temperature than the pressure in order to create differential at the working gas. Add a working gas by inserting a gas canister. The unit must be deactive when adding or removing canisters, or the working gas may leak into the surrounding atmosphere.
Power low.
Man, I miss my wireless power. So we have lots of hot gas, but it does sound like for this to work, we will need a colder atmosphere as well. And it will constantly be trying to equalize those two atmospheres, which might not be great. But it might be neat. I think it's a good source of power on Vulcan from some of the comments and what I've read. So we'll give it a try at some point. In fact, theoretically, if we just use a little bit of oxygen to create like 1200 degrees C, like ignited gases, it could just work like outside, technically. I do remember that the Stirling engine was not a good one to use on Mars, which is why I never really attempted it on Mars. All right, let's power off stuff that we're not using. We basically are shy on materials now. Unless we can create a couple of shoots, basic shoots. Oh yeah, we can make some of these. We'll use these to send items. Do love the long shoots now. Send items to our furnace. And return items from our furnace. Our furnace will be right outside. Yeah, that's all we got. Not quite nighttime yet, but it's getting pretty close. I do need to make like a little temperature monitor. Where is that gas coming from? Stuff makes me nervous sometimes. Alright, looks dark enough. Alright, furnace. We're also going to need some other stuff for the furnace, but we'll get to that in a bit. It's going to go... I wonder if I can, like, set it so that the front is facing through so we can interact with it, but it's still technically outside. Although a couple logic writers and readers will make that not really an issue. We'll just do it like that. And we need some stuff to make it work, but we'll grab that stuff once we have some more resources, because we are currently very out. Right? Mining drill. Let's go grab some copper, some iron. Yeah, and this will probably be the last episode where I actually do mining in episode. After this, I'll do a bunch of mining between episodes, and then we can just reap the rewards of the various metals that we collect here on Vulcan, because it's a very resource-rich planet, which is very nice, because it means that it is less hard to get started in some ways, some very few ways. Don't need, like, all of the copper. Copper is nice, but we need other things too. Specifically iron. Early game, iron is the big requirement. Later on, copper is the big requirement, and then some of the more exotic materials. Honestly, you need so little of some of them. I do kind of wish that some of them were a little bit more used, because, like, save for a very select few endgame recipes, a lot of the super alloys are way more effort than seems justified for those last couple of things. And we'll grab some gold as well, because gold is going to be our first little bit of oxygen for that furnace. Then if it does keep temperature pretty well, this shouldn't really need... This should be like our infinite smelting glitch by just living on a planet that is incredibly hot. Build up our reserves. Fly on out of here. Head on back to base. Pretty sure it's this way, at least. Yep, there's the little light. Alright. We should get started. I think next episode is going to be our trade setup, so we can hopefully get some materials for more survival. So we need to finish this up. We need... No, I want that at the bottom. Or why that's making a null reference exception. That's kind of annoying. Don't put it on the top. I want it at the bottom. It's not going to listen to me. 2 iron sheets. So we're just going to need a bunch of iron sheets for that. Which we did not bring. Less area for this to infiltrate. We just need some iron. Smelt. While that's doing that, let's take the opportunity to run into our little back room here. I would like to get this permanently pressurized soon. But I think I want to rebuild it with steel before I do that, honestly. Right. Boop, boop. Cereal bar. Some water. There we go. Vacuum it back out. You'll be good to go. Hopefully that doesn't damage that tank from having some liquid pollutant in it. Maybe we should get the portable scrubber in here next time and filter some of it out. There we go. Turn you off. Sun's coming up again. Iron. Let's do some copper as well. So we need some iron sheets. Also, for just our own sanity, we should probably get some stackers going pretty soon. What is even in there? Oh, it's another. And what else do we need? We're going to need some cable coils. We're going to require copper. Also, we need for a logic gold, copper. Yeah, gold and copper. That's fine. We have gold. And we will have copper soon. We're going to need some more chutes. No, oops. To finish off the inside pathway through to feed the machine. Also, we should probably switch that chute over to being the other side around. Inlet. There we go. Here you go as well. And probably some pipes. We are going to want to make sure that the output of the furnace is kind of far away from everything else. Otherwise, it might go poorly. We might need one more chute. Let's do 2 more, just in case. Alright. Yeah. And we need 2 pipe cowls. do fine. So 2 pipe cowls. And perhaps some more pipe. Ooh, copper. You into there, and make us some cable coils. Cable coils, there we go. This will allow us to control the furnace from inside. Hopefully not blow ourselves up with it. One of the things we want to look at is with the furnace, to make like steel. Yeah, we're going to need higher pressure. So right now the outside temperature is fine, but we need pressure to make the steel, do the steel things. So for that, in theory, we can just use an active vent. Gold and copper. What do we have in here? Actually, I'll add you into my stash of cable coils. So the active vent will be what pulls the gas in from the outside. And then all of this stuff you grab. It might be better to have a digital valve, honestly. That requires Invar. Let's grab a pump. That's going to be slow. Pressure regulator shouldn't. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now let's vacuum out the room. Now this is out of batteries. Dang it. Theoretically, we should never have to use the arc furnace again, if this works. Which it will, of course it will. Why do I doubt myself? It has no chance of blowing ourselves at all. I'm 100% confident. All the time. Definitely. I'm not winging this at all. Don't know what you're talking about. Hey, man. We also could capture the exhaust from this and filter it, but that is probably a mission for later on. Even with 2 vents, this is still slow. Jeez. Yeah, at least we have plenty of power right now. I think solar is much more efficient here, so a solar farm should give us the power we need for a little while. We do need to focus on getting a battery made, though, so let's see how this sprint. A station battery is going to just require steel. So steel is kind of our first priority here, so let's see if we can make some steel before the end of this episode. About 10 minutes. Hopefully our furnace will run without any catastrophic failures. And pump it out just a little bit faster. And these vents are slow. This is a fairly large room. I mean, it's not that large. It's not nearly. No, dang it! Wrong switch. All that progress. Right back to the start. Oh, this room's depressurized. Yeah, we don't want the volatiles in here. That is the last gas we want in here, so it is important we vacuum this out and not switch that back the other way again. Ugh. Big dumb. There we go. Turn that off now. Turn you off now. Close door. Go outside. Alright. We need crowbar, iron sheets. Nope, wrong one. Wrench and iron sheets. Okay. Now constructed. Let's grab our chutes. It makes me nervous. Every time I see gas moving, I'm guessing it's just that the gas in here is heating up and flowing out. We're honestly cooling down. It could be doing that. This is our input. The input is just going to get... So we are going to grab a active vent. And this has to be put up against a wall somewhere. So it'll go right about here. Come on, plumbed in. If we check the... Yeah, since there's no pressure in the furnace right now, that's fine. We're gonna need some more pipes. Dang it. Well, pressure regulator will get converted into a back pressure regulator. so that it can manage the internal pressure. Oh wait, I have 14 pipe. Okay, I don't need more pipes. This is going to then come up to another nice and tall. Get the potentially explosive gases far, far away from the rest of the base stack. Right? Cable coils time. And then we want that going on the inside, and there we go. Everything's wired up, plumbed up. We might want to throw a fluid drain on it, but it honestly should be okay without one. So furnace is ready to go. Let's grab some coal real quick to see if we can't finish this off. Now, we will need to wait for it to be daytime for the the temperature to get hot enough. I'm pretty sure. For steel making, at least. Let's see if we can't find just a smidge more iron. Oops. Dang it. Give me my iron back. Come back here. This should be enough to make a decent amount of steel. 200 to be exact. Alright. We will need a couple other parts, though. Pressurize. Inside. Now that cable came through in a slightly less than ideal location. Or a significantly less than ideal location. Dang it. Oh. I didn't want to do that. No jetpack inside. This jetpack inside does make for some pressure to be released. We can tell because there's temperature. Let me... There we go. So now we need some other bits and bobs. We are going to need... See if we can actually make all this stuff. A couple of consoles. Everything else should be in here now. You to, I don't know, somewhere else. Up there. We only have enough for one. We're out of iron again. Dang it. I doubt we're getting steel today. Unless we do this, like, turbo jankly. Which is an option, technically. Let's split some gold off. Maybe a little less than that. Let's try with 12 or 13. Toss that in there. And let's go outside and do some manual operation. Pull in some pressure. Why are you not? Why aren't you in? Right? You... What? Am I out of power? Dang it! I'm out of power. That's what's going on here. Charge enough. Come on, solar panels. Can't believe I ran out of power. What were we running all night that took all... Oh, I bet that vent is still on. Forgot to turn it off and it shoots through the rest of the power. This is what we are worried about. This is why we need to be careful on Vulcan. Let's see if we're actually generating anything or if we really are kind of just screwed here. Okay, these are not generating right, which is weird because the sun is definitely visible. Why no generation? Okay, that battery's super dead. There we go. Power is starting to flow in. A very, very small amount of power, which is not enough to run that vent. So we have to wait until these generate enough to run a single vent. And whatever else I left on, which was probably several manufactories, or at least one manufactory. This is why we need a station battery. How much does an active vent use? Oh, 100 watts. Yeah, this might take a moment. Well, that should be giving us 100 watts there. Alright, we might not be super screwed. Okay. Off. Charge. There we go. What was I in here for? Put gold in there. Oh, I was going to check the power, and that's what we found out to be wrong. Okay, now we should be able to turn you on. Pull in some spicily hot gas. You off. Why not? This is hard to access. I saw it for a second. Let me push the button. Dang it. This is why I need a button on the inside. That should be hot enough to smelt the gold.
Waste
So
tank caution.
we open the cast. Come on. We should see gold. Yay! Which should in theory then mean if we go back inside, oh, it's not gonna work. Alright, steal next episode when I finish making that stuff. You can probably make some iron though, at least. Let's vent our tank. Let's put away our U real quick. Open. Slightly terrifying when we have to do that. Vacuum this out. We can close the mold from inside. We can't reopen it, unfortunately. Alright, but we did make some gold. We have a furnace that works. We need to automate it a little bit by just adding some extra buttons to the inside of our base. Logic writer, logic reader, all that good stuff. But once we get that done, we will be able to make steel, which means we will be able to make batteries, solve our power problems, and get trading online. So, tune in next time for us to get started on that. And thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next Monday.